Hi there, welcome to Two Birds. I'm Fiona and this is Sonia, the other bird from Two Birds, and we're here at the beautiful Peninsula Hot Springs bringing you a tutorial on pigeon pose and many variations and modifications so you can find the perfect shape in your body to practice this beautiful hip opener. And when we think of our hips, they're really dense muscles supported by strong tendons, and that gives us lots of stability in our joints as well as mobility. And the hips really are the central hub for mobility in our bodies. And so when we feel discomfort in this particular area of our body, it can refer up into our lower back and also further down the kinetic chain of our legs. And so practicing hip openers, and particularly this one, is so beneficial for releasing the deeper layers of our hips, and it can free up space and return your range of motion and improve circulation in the lower half of your body. So what I'm going to do is go through 5 different variations of pigeon, and Sonia is going to be my demo model. And what we're going to do is start with some more accessible versions, and these are good if you happen to have any knee issues or you have particularly tight or congested hips. And then we'll move into some other shapes for those of you who are more mobile and more flexible. And I probably wouldn't suggest practicing this if you have any current sacroiliac joint issues or any knee injuries. Let's take a look. For our first variation of pigeon pose, we recline, lay down on your back and bringing both feet to the floor. So this is reclined pigeon or Supta Kapotanasana, and it's suitable if you have a sensitive low back but no injuries, sensitive knees or particularly tight hips. So with both feet on the floor, align your spine into a neat line. Then make a figure 4 with the legs by crossing your right ankle over the top of your left knee. So you're flexing your right toes here and lift the left foot off the ground, threading your hands and interlacing them behind the back of your left knee, or you can catch a hold of the front of the shin. So you're trying to draw your left shin in towards your body as you guide your right knee away. So try and remain relaxed in your upper body so your head can rest back, your shoulders can spread and relax. And just reclining in this pose allows you to exert a minimal amount of effort while working into your glutes, your deeper buttocks muscles and your hip rotators. And since the pose doesn't require too much effort or output, you can hold it for a little while longer, accessing deeper layers of resistance while settling into your breath. To release, we simply place both feet back on the floor and reset for the other side. The next variation of pigeon is a Z-legs pigeon shape. So we start sitting here, and though this isn't technically a pigeon pose, it can make the posture more available to you, particularly if your body feels awkward, perhaps in your knees or your hips in the regular half pigeon. So from your seated posture, bring your left knee as close to 90 degrees as your body allows in front of you, so your shin comes parallel with the top edge of your mat. Now you might find that if you do have tight hips that this is not comfortable, and you can move your left heel in a little closer toward your pelvis. So you just find a comfortable external rotation to your inner left thigh. And from here you open your right leg to 90 degrees behind you. So you're trying to flex both your feet and activate the muscles in and around your knees to help protect your knees here. So from here you can sit upright, or you can start to fold forward, extending through the front of your spine. And wherever you choose to be, start to press your right hip forward to extend the front of your hip muscles, so the extensor muscles, and then you continue to externally turn your front left hip open. And as you become more relaxed in this shape, you can start to work on straightening your back leg behind you and also squaring your hips to the front edge of the mat, which leads us to Ardha Kapottanasana, or half pigeon pose, and that's probably the shape that's most recognisable as pigeon pose. But before deepening into this pose, you might need to troubleshoot a little. If you've arrived with your back leg straight and you feel safe in your knee joint, you might have a little bit of space underneath your left buttocks. It's not touching the floor, and this can make you feel a little unsteady or bring your hips out of balance. And a helpful modification here is to roll up a blanket or use a block underneath your left sit bone. And just by propping your buttocks, you can prioritise keeping your hip points level and your pelvis square to the front edge of the mat. So keep the outer edge of your left foot rooted into the earth and your outer ankle bone lifted. So if your front ankle collapses here, the posture is less effective as a hip opener and you risk putting more pressure in your knee. So from here, use your fingertips and your thumbs to support the engagement of your upper body. So you're lifting, and work on descending the hips down without dumping your weight. So you maintain an active engagement in your back leg, your front and back foot, and your toes, feeling for an inner spiral through your back leg. If you choose to bow forward, it's really important to be able to comfortably rest your head. So here another modification is just to place a block or a cushion in front of you, or simply stack your fists. So as you reach your arms straight, you're able to rest your head. And as you bow forward, extend through the front of your spine. So you widen your thighs and take your sitting bones back and apart as you extend forward. And to release from here, you simply reverse your torso, engaging your abdominal core to help you lift up nice and lightly. And from here you can step back to downward facing dog and pedal out through your heels. Let the back of your knee breathe. The next two variations require more mobility and range of motion and flexibility in your hips. From downward dog, we take our right knee to the back of our right hand and we come back into half pigeon. Staying upright through your torso, flex your right toes and find your front heel alignment that provides a deep hip stretch in your outer right hip and your buttocks without throwing your hips off. Work on descending the hips down while keeping your heart lifted. So you keep extending your left foot back behind you, which will engage your left hip extensor muscles and opens the front of your hip in your psoas. From here, you might try to bend the left knee and draw your heel toward your buttocks, reaching back with your left hand. And then just check and reset so your hips remain level and your torso points forward. To progress, you might be able to hook your elbow around the top of your left foot and bring your right hand to greet your left hand, linking your fingers. This shape provides a deep stretch for the front of your left thigh, a mild back bend, and an outer right hip stretch. If you have more room to grow, you can take your linked hands over your head and continue to hold your left foot with your right hand and swim your left elbow up toward the ceiling, taking hold of your foot behind you. And this is mermaid pose. So to release, we reverse and kindly and gracefully return to downward dog. Our final variation, and often sequenced toward the end of the class, is double pigeon or fire log pose. From downward dog, Sonia will step through to come to sit and cross her left shin closest to her pelvis and cradle her right leg in her arms. And just to gently warm and open the hip in preparation, she'll gently rock side to side before placing her right shin neatly stacked over her left shin. To align, she'll narrow her knees toward one another, flexing her toes, activating those protective muscles that surround her knee. And she stacks her calves like fire logs And you can either remain upright here or forward fold, extending through the front of your spine. And as with all the yoga postures, it's important to remember to approach your practice with curiosity and just remain in your own safe range of motion. Find sensations in your body that can be sustained with a steady breath. Namaste.